Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome to the channel The Growth Grind. So this channel is all about growing a small account and trying to be a funded trader. So I'm going to show you what I look at. Not really an educational channel here. I'm not really looking to teach anyone anything. I'm just here to show you what it looks like when you're trading and trying to grow a small account and get funded. So the first thing I like to do is look at the fundamentals. I want to see, is there any earnings today of any household names, something that could potentially move the markets? Usually what I look for is anything with $500 billion in market cap. So there's nothing here. As today, was there anything, any news going on that I should know about? Any catalysts for potential moves in the market? So in the morning, which is usually when I like to trade, there were unemployment claims, building permits, and housing starts. Typically going to be a good indicator when there are more housing starts and building permits than forecasted. So I like to go to Forex Factory. It tells you building permits, annualized number of new residential building permits issued during the previous month. Same thing with housing starts. In general, these are going to be a pretty good indicator if the markets are going to be bullish or bearish, depending on if the actual R is greater or less than the forecast. So today, they were less than forecast, so a little bit bearish there. When I looked at the pre-market data earlier, it was a bit of a mix, really. And then was there any news that could move the market this morning? Really, there wasn't anything because the federal funds rate was at 1 o'clock. So in the morning, not much going on. Plus, tomorrow was Juneteenth. A lot of companies, as well as some banks, they were closed. So really no trading tomorrow. So today really wasn't going to be an extreme day to make a ton of money. So with that being said, there wasn't really much to do except for just wait for some reports to come out. So what I wanted to do was look at the equities. I looked at the NASDAQ and the ES. I trade the micros because, again, we have a small account. I like to look at the daily time frame, work down to the 4 hour, the 1 hour, and then try to find some entries on the minute. So overall, I identified a space here, a zone here, where price made this huge drop down. And so really, I'm interested in going long until we hit this spot. Price is overall bullish on the daily, a little bit sideways for this past week. If I go to a 4 hour trend to see where the momentum is, it was sideways, bouncing between supply and demand here, bouncing between support and resistance. So today I said if price came here to this red zone supply, I would look to go short. If price came back here to demand, I would look to go long. And really, there wasn't much going on in the morning, and price didn't come back here until the market closed. So I didn't do anything on the NASDAQ. On gold, same thing. Price wasn't really doing much. It was just sort of hovering. If we go to the daily, price was coming into daily supply. Made a push lower, so now it looks like our momentum for the day is bearish. And didn't do a whole lot. So Japanese yen was one area that I wanted to go long, and then crude. So on the Japanese yen, the daily time frame wasn't really doing much. We're a little sideways, more on the bearish side, but we're coming into demand here. On the 4 hour time frame, we are bearish for the day. Price came back into this demand zone. And so what I saw and what I was aiming for today was here. So price came back to demand, broke above here, broke this high, and I was looking to go long. On a 5-minute time frame, I was looking to go long here because it's at demand zone here because it was a break of this high. Price came back down, almost retested it, and then made a higher high. So these are the two places I was looking to go long, and unfortunately, nothing really happened. So a whole lot of nothing. And at this point, price already came up to this level of this supply, this resistance, and then came back down. So at that point, I wouldn't have wanted to take this. Once price hit that, I was done looking at the Japanese yen. For crude, on the daily, huge bullish uptrend here. 4-hour momentum, bullish as well. So 1 hour time frame, I looked at demand, which is here. And I said, okay, well, if price comes back here, I'd look to go long. Eventually, price did. And so where I looked to get in. So my first try was here. I attempted to go along here. And then price came back, stopped me out here. Once my price made high above here, I took this as my trade, got stepped out, so trade 1, which is whatever. I wanted to get long again once price would be able to break and close above this high, so nothing really going on for a while. Just a whole lot of nothing. From 9:30 a.m. we're still going to 10:30. Nothing going on, and then boom, we have this break and close above the previous high. It's just a very strong indicator that the bulls are starting to gain momentum here. Bulls are coming into the market, so I entered long here. So this boxes my trade. Also got this double bottom, this new high, and we're at demand. So in terms of my setup, this was a good trade to go long. Price came back, stopped me out. And that was my second trade. Second trade of the day on the same symbol, going the same direction. Didn't work out, so I was done for the day. But what could I have done differently? I could have used this demand zone or this demand zone, something a little bit deeper. Something like that, because that would have gotten here, pushed higher, and I would have made a pretty good profit, more than a 2-to-1, probably a 3-to-1. Price came back into this point which would have been my target. Did a whole lot of nothing. Kept testing it, and kept going. So, I missed out on huge profits here, but I followed my plan, I followed my setup. I didn't want to overdo the risk, so that's pretty much it. So trade 1, trade 2 was down about $155. This is a sim account. For transparency, this is a sim account, $50,000. So I lost about $155 today. Full disclosure, I had about $200 in profits past 2 weeks, and yeah, so just little ups and downs. I'll show you the wins, I'll show you the losses. It doesn't really matter to me. I stick to my rules, and really all this is about is sticking to your rules, looking at your setup, and finding ways to get better. So if you're looking to get into trading, this channel is going to show you what I do, what it's like for me, and hopefully give you some encouragement if you think about quitting, if you think about starting. But yeah, on to the next day. So